Hey girly pops, it's 3 Phantom Bray, and today I want to talk about a specific Scooby Doo show that came out in 2010, one that is loved by the majority of the Scooby Doo fandom and is considered by many, even those outside of the fandom, to be the best Scooby Doo series and a masterpiece. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, SDMI for short. It is remembered fondly by many for its overarching plot and being a darker version of Scooby, but is it really deserving of all the praise that it gets? In my opinion, no, it's not a great show. And before anyone assumes that I hate this show because of the title of this video, I just want to say that I don't. I'm not being a hater, I'm just being critical. I actually like Mystery Incorporated, but the show has many problems while also having many things that it does well. And while I disagree with the majority of the fandom that it's the best show and a flawless masterpiece, I also don't agree with people who say that it's the worst one, or it's bad, or irredeemable, or mediocre. My opinion is more of that it's not the best or worst Scooby Doo series, and it has many flaws, but also was very captivating in a lot of ways. And I think the fandom gives it too much praise, but I understand why so many people love it and why some people hate it. There are valid reasons to both love and hate the show. I'm going to talk about why I have this nuanced take on the show and also its impact on the franchise and the fandom for the last decade, starting with the characters and their romantic relationships. Daphne, Blake. In the words of Fred Jones, this time, it's personal. Daphne is one of my favorite members of the gang, and I hate how she was written in the show. Listen, it's not a bad idea for her to have some love interests, but oh my god, she literally doesn't get a single fucking arc in this show that doesn't revolve around Fred or any other male love interest. She never gets to be her own character. She never gets to have any arc that doesn't revolve around a man, which is especially upsetting considering that What's New Daphne, 80s Daphne, 70s Daphne, a pup named Scooby Doo Daphne, Zombie Island Daphne, and even versions of her that came out after SDMI like Be Cool and the modern direct-to-video movies have so much more personality than SDMI Daphne. Even the 2002 live-action movie had a Daphne with more personality. This is all pointed out in a Tumblr post by my friend Duck. Their characters don't always revolve around men. Even the female side characters in the show, like Cassidy and Marcy, are written much better than Daphne is. SDMI can clearly write compelling female characters, so it's embarrassing how much they messed up with Daphne. Like, how was a version of Daphne from 1969 more progressive than a version of Daphne from 2010? Also, Daphne is so sexualized in this show, even though she's underage. And you can't even argue that we don't know her age, because in the show, it's clearly shown that the gang are in high school. They literally attend Crystal Cove High. And in the final episode, Daphne's mom says she's almost 18, which just means she's still underage. There's many jokes about her being hot being made by other characters. And there's an episode where she's in the shower and we see her put on a bathrobe. She's literally naked underneath that bathrobe, and she's like 17. Her skirt that she wears when performing with the Hess Girls is way too short. And in another episode, she literally has lingerie pajamas on. And multiple of the guys she gets romantically involved with are grown men, and the show never says it's wrong for her to be with grown men because they are grown men and she's a teenager. Instead, when the show has a character that's opposed to the relationship, it's always because the relationship interferes with Fred and Daphne's relationship. Like, can nobody fucking point out that it's wrong because she's underage and the guy is a grown man? There's no adults here to say, hey, that's a teenager, get away from her. And I know a lot of the adults in Crystal Cove don't give a shit about Mystery Inc., but come on. There's not even one adult to say he's too old for her. It's clearly the people behind the show who are grown adults being like, see, look how hot Daphne is. The sexualization of Daphne and other gay members like Velma also become a trend in the franchise, unfortunately, after SDMI. Even though it did happen in the James Gunn live-action movies first, where they're aged up to adults so that they can be sexualized, it didn't happen again until SDMI, where they're little teenagers. Like, a lot of Scooby Doo media that came after SDMI, not all of them, but a lot of them, sexualizes teenagers that have some relationships with grown men, Daphne especially. This is a huge problem that needs to be talked about more by the fandom. I'm tired of seeing the fandom ignore the pedophilia in the franchise constantly. And sure, not every single piece of Scooby Doo media after SDMI says that the teenagers in media where their ages are ambiguous, but we can't know for sure that they're adults and knows, and a lot of the ones that make it clear that the teenagers are the one that usually sexualizes them. The gang are usually underage with a few exceptions. Anyways, I think this is the worst version of Daphne, or at least one of the worst versions. The character of Daphne deserves so much better than the way that she was made to be in SDMI. I love her purple eyes, though. Shelma, Shaggy and Velma's romantic relationship. Whoever decided to have Shelma in the show, I'm in your fucking walls. It's embarrassing how bad Velma and Shaggy are as a couple. Not that I was ever into it in the first place, and I know people have talked about this before, but holy shit, she's always trying to change him. He's clearly not into her, but also when she tries to change him, he does whatever she says, like he never stands up for himself. Velma's fighting with Scooby over Shaggy. Scooby's jealous of Velma and Shaggy's relationship. Velma's literally like, are you gonna pick a dog over a girl, Shaggy? That's so fucking stupid. That plot is so stupid in the show and would be stupid in any show. And I know it was said that Velma was acting like that because she was a teenage lesbian dealing with compulsory heterosexuality, and they couldn't say that she was back in 2010 because of homophobia. And you know what? Her dealing with that isn't a bad concept. As someone who is bisexual myself, I think it could be very interesting for a character. And I love the idea of her being a lesbian in the show and in general. But the way they went about it could have been better. Like, just because she deals with that doesn't mean that she has to be fighting with a dog over a boy, or try to change everything about a boyfriend, including the way that he talks, his eating habits, or the way that he dresses. She makes him hurt himself to change the way he talks. Shaggy was completely fine being himself, and Velma knows that, but she decides to attempt to change a lot about him anyways. And listen, I know that they're both teenagers who most likely have never been in a relationship before, and there's a lot of complicated feelings. I understand that. There's going to be some awkward moments, especially when one of them is dealing with compet. But you don't have to make her so fucking mean to Shaggy. Shota literally breaks a cemetery when Shaggy tells her he doesn't want to go to prom with her. Don't wonder why he doesn't want to go with you, because you flip out when he tells you the truth. And while I do understand Shaggy probably being afraid to stand up for himself when someone does try to change him, when you're a teenager, there are a lot of times when you feel that it's hard to stand up for yourself. I think he could have also not followed whatever she says and maybe try to express the way he felt about it in some way. Like, just because he feels like that doesn't mean that he can't, that he can like just walk all over him like that. Maybe she was forced into a relationship, which is also a red flag. Also, if he wasn't and he agreed to it, then why? He's clearly not into her and he doesn't want to be in this relationship. And he could have expressed that earlier. And Velma never even apologized to Shaggy about her behavior. I also don't like how Velma acted towards Scooby, or how he acted towards Velma either. Like, why is Velma jealous of a dog? Why would Scooby not be happy for his best friend Shaggy and his friend Velma when they get into a relationship? Why is Velma rolling her eyes every time Shaggy and Scooby show affection for each other? It's especially confusing since there's also an episode where Shaggy starts to like another girl, and Scooby has no problem with it except for like one scene, and then in season 2 Scooby gets a girlfriend, and while Shaggy feels a little bit down about it at first, there's no major storyline about Shaggy being jealous of Nova, or Nova and Shaggy fighting over Scooby. There was one episode where Scooby gets mistaken for the Fright Hound, so he gets arrested, and then Velma is actually happy that he's gone. Like, are you fucking kidding me, Velma? That's your friend. I don't care if you two were fighting. You should be glad that he's gone. And I know they're all on better terms later on, but my god, this plot is so fucking stupid and I hate it. And by the time they completely drop the Shelma plot, it's like halfway through the show. Velma Dinkley only. I've already just talked about my frustrations with her, so here's more. I hate how much they make fun of her appearance in the show. It makes me so sad, especially since I think she's adorable. She's not ugly. She was never ugly. Stop it. And also she gets involved with the grown women in the show too. And because this is between two girls, they don't say that she's dating Amy, the woman also fake mermaid. But at the very least, Velma having feelings for Amy is implied when she calls Amy her special friend. And it's not revealed that Amy is a grown woman and also married until the end of the episode, but still, the people behind the show knew what they were doing. And also in the show, Velma is made skinnier than she was in previous incarnations of Scooby Doo, and also her breasts are bigger, so they can be like, oh, look at her, she's hot now, even though she's literally underage. And there were fat jokes made about her too, so there's fatphobia here as well. Do I have to explain why this is bad? It's terrible that Velma was made to act the way that she did because she was a lesbian dealing with combat, and that same lesbian gets sexualized in the show. Anyways, I do think that Velma gets good lines in the show sometimes. She wants to see the best people and trust them, and I love that she has her own blog. Those are positive things that I will say about this version of her. But yeah, she gets sexualized in the show too. It's not just Daphne. Also, even when Shaggy saves her in an episode from a monster, she immediately says to him, oh, I still don't forgive you, by the way. And in an episode where she gets a heartfelt confession from Marcy and then immediately corrects her grandma. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. Shaggy Rogers and Scooby Doo. Okay, I don't really have anything to say about them besides what I already said, though I hate that there's an adult woman in one episode who tries to get with Shaggy, and I don't really like Scooby's relationship with Nova all that much, but it's whatever. And also I used to hyperfixate over his and Nova's relationship back in 2013 to 2014, and Nova's a cute character, so yeah. Fred Jones. I actually love Fred in the show. He makes me smile and laugh, and he has some great lines like, "I'm not a guy anymore. See that holder? That should be an engine." And that scene where he goes, "Stop," and everyone gaps dramatically, and he just goes, "My shoe's untied." I think this is the best version of him, or at least one of the best versions of him. And as someone who is autistic, I love that he is autistic in this show. Is it a perfect representation of autism? No, but I enjoy Fred in the show, and I appreciate that there was an effort at making him autistic. And he is also one of my favorite members of the gang, so I'm glad that we have this version of him. He's just a silly guy that loves his friends and wants parental affection. Traps are his special interest. He loves his van. He's been through so much, both because of his father who kidnapped him as a baby and is not a good parent, and his evil birth parents. He tries to remain positive. He just wants to be loved and is afraid of losing the one he loves, which is something that a lot of people can relate to. And I just love you so much, Fred. The best written character of the main cast, in my opinion. Though, unfortunately, he also got involved with someone who might be an adult, Alice May. We don't actually know her real age. They left it ambiguous. We don't even know her real backstory because she lied about some things. She was a villain who went after him, and also other teenage boys who were going to prom. And if she's a teenager, the way that they went about her is still creepy because she was sexualized when she was in that obliteratrix costume. And obliteratrix is literally a reference to BDSM culture. Like, it's not even a blink and you'll miss the type one. It's so obvious. And I do think Alice may have potential as a villain, but I hate the way that they handle her for the reasons that I just said. Daphne, Fred and Daphne's romantic relationship. The main ship of the show. I like Daphne, and they have some cute scenes in the show, but I question the way they were written here sometimes. Like, why did they get engaged? You were in high school. Sit down and go do your homework, okay? I've already talked about this, but Daphne is obsessed with Fred, and while I understand that she's a teenager, it's normal for her to be a little bit boy crazy. It's the only thing that she's allowed to do in this show. Also, when Fred finds out the truth about his parents and that basically his whole life has been a lie, Daphne makes it all about their relationship. Like, girl, he's obviously very emotional right now and is not thinking clearly. Give him a moment. This is not the time. Literally not one relationship in the show is healthy. Anyways, I think that they get some good scenes, like when Daphne apologizes for putting so much pressure on him and they kiss, or when Fred confesses to Daphne that he's afraid of losing everyone he loves. And I love that Daphne learns to accept that Fred will always talk about traps. The Daphne jealousy plot where either Fred or Daphne will have someone who is interested in them or they are interested in, and the one who doesn't will get jealous, also becomes a trend in the direct-to-video movies after SDMI. Though the first time that happened was the Zombie Island movie, it really started being more present after SDMI, which doesn't bother me personally, but I understand why it bothers others. And also the fact that Daphne and also Varsity, Velma and Marcy's ship name, have their own theme song in this show. That is so cute. Daphne as a couple in general is also shown in more Scooby Doo media after SDMI. Marcy Fleech. Marcy, my beloved. She's a compelling rival for Velma, which the threat is introduced, and I love seeing her and Velma get to bond with each other and they become girlfriends. I like that she shares traits with Velma, is very loyal despite her no-nonsense personality, and becomes part of the gang at one point, even though they kick her out after Daphne comes back. And I like her whole Velma, you were my first friend, so you mean a lot to me, and I care about you things she has going on. I also like that she gets to be a villain not once but twice, and the second time is to get a piece of the planispheric disc, but ends up giving it to the gang because she can't bring herself to betray Velma. But I do hate that when she's a villain for the second time, aka the dark blue costume, she's also sexualized. Again, with the sexualization of teenage girls, what the fuck. Also, I hate that she gets killed off in the last episodes of season 2. Here we go with the bury your gays trope. But I do think that Marcy's death scene is top 3 scenes in the entire show. Marcy willing to sacrifice herself for the Velma and the gang. Velma's voice crack and the look on her face when she knows her girlfriend is dead as they walk away. Scooby whimpering because he knows how hurt Velma is. The lack of music until they start walking again. Gosh, it's so emotional and heartbreaking. I also find it interesting that when the new timeline is created after the evil entity is defeated, she's alive, but it's in a perfect timeline where she never died and her and Velma get to officially be a couple. And Velma never had that perfect life before the evil entity was destroyed, so this Marcy isn't really her Marcy, because her Marcy died and they didn't get that perfect life with each other, and this Marcy doesn't remember the old timeline, and Velma has no attachment to the new timeline. She's not from it. It's haunting really for both Velma and the audience. It's a cool concept. And also, Velma literally leaves town, so she doesn't say goodbye to Marcy. Anyways, I hope that Marcy gets to come back in the franchise one day and date Velma again. She's awesome. One of the best written female characters in the show. Cassidy Williams, aka Angel Dynamite. Cassidy, my beloved. She's also one of the best written female characters in the show. I love that the gang can always come to her place. She is a supportive adult figure towards them, and I like to imagine that she is a parental figure to them. She cares a lot about the gang and wants to protect them, and is honest most of the time. The scenes where Velma figures out that her real name is Cassie and that she is one of the members of the original Mystery Incorporated, and Cassie reveals that secret to the rest of the gang, are amazing. I'll forever eat it up every time I rewatch. I like that she has a lot of skills, and her past relationship with Mr. E, aka Ricky Owens, is very interesting. Her chill and groovy personality is something that I really enjoy, and I couldn't help but laugh at the scene where Daphne reads aloud her diary entry that she wrote as a teenager, where she said she fantasized about Ricky taking her in his arms on a magic carpet ride all the way to Romantovania. I do hate that she dies in the old time. Like, why did they just really kill off the only recurring black character in the show? I know that she's alive in the new timeline, but that's not the same Cassie that we knew for the entire show. It's a Cassie from the new timeline, not the old one. Anyways, I also hope that she comes back one day. Mr. E, aka Ricky Owens. He's a really compelling character, and I love him sending letters to the gang and giving them clues as Mr. E. It's a really cool mystery element, and it reminds me of A in Pretty Little Lies, another show that I like that also came out in 2010. And I love that Mr. E is a pun on the word mystery. It took me years to figure that one out. He's mysterious and pessimistic as an adult, and as a teenager, he was often accident-prone and nervous. Like I said, his past relationship with Cassidy is interesting, and I like that he comes to eventually regret what he did to the gang and others, and then sacrifice his own life to save the gang from the evil entity. His past friendship with Professor Pericles was also really interesting, and I like that his past friendship with Pericles parallels Shaggy and Scooby's friendship. Impact on the franchise and the fandom. Like I said before, SDMI had a huge impact on the franchise. After SDMI, Fred's characterization changed to what it is now. He is hyperfixated on traps and the van. Fred and Daphne's romantic relationship started coming up more in Scooby media. Scooby starts talking more, which I am neutral on. Daphne jealousy plot. Darker visual style, having a wacky tone while being dark and spooky. More of a gang member fighting with another. Daphne and Velma getting sexualized. Some of the music score, and getting a lot more meta too. The show had a lot of meta jokes, and the franchise gets more meta after SDMI. Getting more meta is neither a good nor a bad thing, in my opinion, because sometimes meta jokes can be done well and sometimes they can suck. Its impact on the fandom was pretty big too, because so many people talk about how they love SDMI and they think it's the best Scooby series and how much they want another series like it. And many fan ideas for a new Scooby series, including doing a more darker and mature version of Scooby Doo, are inspired by SDMI. And I don't know how I feel about SDMI having a big impact on the franchise, because on one hand, I think it's great that the things that it does well are impacting current Scooby stuff, but also on the other hand, it's terrible that some of the worst things that it did are still prevalent in Scooby stuff today. I think that SDMI is one of the pieces of Scooby Doo media that has the most impact on the fandom and the franchise. Some other things that I really like. Villains. A lot of the monster designs and concepts in this show are very good. The cicada creature is especially terrifying to me. Is it partially because I'm terrified of bugs? Yes, but even without that, it's still terrifying and I love it. It's a really cool idea for a villain. There's other villains I love too, like Aphrodite, who reminds me a lot of Nakara from 13 Ghosts. The Phantom from the Inferior the Phantom episode, his design is awesome. The Evil Entity and Rude Boy and the Skytastics. I also think that Pericles was a legitimately threatening and unhinged villain, and he's probably the most memorable out of all of them. The show definitely has some memorable villains, even though I hate some of them, like Crybaby Clown and the Dandy Highwayman. The art style and the setting. While I'm not a fan of how the art style usually looks on the characters, I think the art style looks great on the backgrounds, and it also really gets to shine with some of the lighting and with the dark atmosphere in general. The dark atmosphere It's also great. I think that the town of Crystal Cove is really interesting and a great setting for the show. Crystal Cove has also been a setting in some other Scooby Doo media that came out after SDMI, which is another thing that shows how big SDMI's impact on the franchise is. In my personal opinion, though, they should have only used Crystal Cove for SDMI and not for any other Scooby Doo media, since Crystal Cove was specifically made for SDMI. Like, the whole point was that the town was cursed. Something was wrong with the town, so I feel like using Crystal Cove and other media kind of takes away something special that SDMI did. Anyways, Coolsville is the superior hometown, and I stand by that. The overarching plot. Everyone already says this, so I'm not saying anything new, but the overarching plot is amazing. The dark secrets and the curse behind Crystal Cove corrupting so many people, turning them into the worst version of themselves by taking bad qualities that already existed in them and making them worse. The cursed treasure, some of the town's history, the Nibiru thing, the fact that there are other versions of mystery-solving groups, including ones in the past. So the new Mystery Incorporated group is in the first mystery-solving group of teens and an animal. Incredible. Something that I also really love is the episodes being called chapters, the recaps at the beginning of each episode, the theme of friendship saving the day, and the dynamic of the original Mystery Incorporated. Very good. The music score. The music score, composed by Robert J. Kroll, is amazing, especially the rapid score that plays when the gang solve the mystery. I absolutely love that music score in particular made its way to other Scooby-Doo media that came out after SDMI. To be honest, the soundtrack for SDMI is good. Trap of Love is a really good song. It's one of my faves. Other things that bother me. The whole psychic thing in the Mystery Solvers State Club Finals episode was so fucking stupid. I think this episode is amazing, don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. But the psychic plot point was so fucking stupid. Scooby was never a psychic, and no one ever called him a psychic. The whole franchise is named after him. The show is named after him. People call the gang the Scooby Gang for a reason. He's the main character. No one has ever called him a psychic. What are you talking about? Anyways, it was a really fun episode. I loved it, and the art style in Scooby's Dream is amazing. Honestly, I think it should have been used more often. I think it looks better on the characters than usual one did. I hate that they implied the Spanish conquistadors who founded Crystal Cove only colonized because they were cursed by the evil entity. Do I have to explain why this is bad? The Disney Highwayman and his episode was so fucking misogynistic. Seriously, what was that episode? The dude literally pretends to listen to women so that they fall in love with him, and then he kidnaps them, including Daphne, a teenage girl. But he has earplugs in so that he can't hear women when they talk too much. And this is a lesson that both Shaggy and Fred take at the end of the episode. They also put earplugs in to avoid having to listen to women, and also Sheriff Bronson Stone says listening to women? Whoever heard of such a thing? What the fuck? This episode came out in 2013, so you can't even argue that this was a different time or whatever. And Shaggy and Fred are characters that we're supposed to be rooting for. Stand and deliver, more like delivering misogyny. The only parts of the episode that I liked were Scooby's dreams. I didn't care about anything else. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated will always be remembered for better or for worse. Was it a great show? No, but I do appreciate seeing what people have to say about it. And while I think it gets too much praise in the fandom, and I have a huge issue with the fact that because people who want on their SDMI don't think it has flaws or that they need to be improved on, no one probably imitates the good parts while also improving on its flaws. I understand why it's a fan favorite, even though I don't understand why people think it's the best Scooby series or a perfect masterpiece. And I had fun rewatching the show for this video, and I hope that one day we can get a series similar to SDMI that will improve on the flaws of the original while also keeping the good things. I think it would be really nice to see. I think many of the show's concepts have potential that could be unlocked with the right writers, and I think that it would be a better show had it been made today instead of in 2010. I care about SDMI, and I think it has great side characters, and I would be interested to see a version of it that would be so much better than the original ever was. And having a Scooby series that's darker, or at least where the stakes are raised, could be interesting if done right. And that's all I wanted to say for this video. If you're a Scooby Doo fan, whether you like SDMI or not, and you watch this all the way through, I'm glad you listened to what I had to say. Thank you. Bye, Girly Pops. You are now leaving Crystal Cove.